This is ASOTU Unscripted, and I'm your host, Errol Bomar.
What's up, beautiful people? This is ASOTU Unscripted. I'm your host, Errol Bomar, and I'm excited to be joined by our next guest. So do me a favor, you make some noise, give him a round of applause, whatever you need to do to share the energy that you have while you're watching us. I've got Shane Westphal here with me. Shane, pleasure to have you here. Welcome.
Glad to be here.
So first, wait, before we get started, I've got to ask you,
okay,
do you have any talking points, any notes, any cue cards, any script? Anything? All right, good. I wanted to make sure because
you made me leave him back there.
Exactly. I'm glad you followed the rules. All right. So first off, I ask everyone just to make it easy. Is this your first ASOTU? Second. I love that. Welcome back.
Thanks so much.
Look forward to seeing you next year for your third. Right. That's how we're going to do it. Now, tell me a little bit about why you made this priority. Like, what brought you here specifically to say, you know what, I'm not missing ASOTU. I've got to be here.
Like-minded individuals.
I love that.
And just wraps it all up. I just want to be around other people that want to do the business the way the business should be done and tell the good stories of the car business. There's plenty to be told.
I love it. So speaking of good stories to be told, tell me a little bit about your origin story, right? I always say every hero has their own origin story of how they ended up in this space. So tell me about your story and how you ended up in this automotive universe that we have.
I call my story the But God story.
Okay.
So I was in a transitional period in 2001.
Okay.
I had sold out a business that I owned and thought that I wanted to go ahead and enter into the restaurant business.
Okay.
And so this is in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Yeah.
I thought the best way to get into a business was the way that I'd always got in, ground level. I thought, hey, I'll wait tables.
Yeah.
I knew I could make some money waiting tables.
Yeah.
Not as much as I was used to having my own business, but
yeah,
I knew I could do that.
Right.
In that story, I had gotten to a place where I decided that the restaurant business was not where I was going.
Gotcha.
But God had put someone in my path. There was a reason that I was supposed to be there.
Right.
The executive chef of that restaurant's father was in the car business.
Okay.
And he said, Shane, he said, you and my father are like minds.
Really?
And what's interesting about this is 2001.
Okay.
And he said, I know you're moving to Jackson, Mississippi. He said, you really need to consider getting into the car business.
Yeah. And
so when I went to Jackson, Mississippi, I started interviewing with some different car dealerships.
Okay.
What's interesting about that is to this day, 2001, there wasn't quite the connectedness of Facebook and that.
He
and I have
started.
lost, touch.
Yes.
His father has since, passed away in that. And there were some interesting places along the way where his father kind of showed back up in the career.
Wow.
But what's so neat about that to me is that person speaking into what he saw.
Yeah.
Something I didn't even see at that time.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Changed the whole trajectory of where I was going, and led me to where I am now.
Right.
So it's pretty neat.
That is, and there's nothing, I think some of those are the best testimonies, right? Like the best testimonies are either the but God testimonies or what I like to call the I don't even know, right? Like when people say, well, how did you get, I don't even know. Like it wasn't anything that I like cooked up or conjured up. Like I don't even know, right? And I think those are the best, blessings of our life. And, one thing that I remember, one of my pastors, our founding pastor of our church said this. He said, when we give gifts, we give the gifts of things, right? Like if I want to give you a gift, I'll give you a thing.
Sure.
But when God gives us gifts, he gives us the gifts of people.
Absolutely.
Right?
100%.
And so recognizing like how you just mentioned, like this, I was here because I needed to get this gift and that gift led me here. So let's fast forward and talk a little bit more about now,
Sure.
right? I know you're here and that was 2001 that you started your journey. Where are you at now? What excites you? Like when you're getting up in the morning, those feet hit the ground, what gets you off and running? What has you revved up right now?
Well, a couple things back to that initial story. Something that always sticks with me is to be available.
Yeah.
God tells us in the Bible that the power of life and death is right here in our tongue.
Absolutely.
So him speaking into me, not forgetting to speak into our people.
Yeah.
And go ahead and challenge them, let them know, hey, where we've been, where we are,
Yeah.
where we think we can go. You know, at this point, I'm the general manager and executive manager of our dealership, but started out in sales and transitioned through, you know, the different ranks, held a bunch of different roles, but all at the same store for 23, almost 24 years now.
Okay.
So a real interesting path. But what gets me out of bed and helps me go ahead and jump to my feet in the morning at this point is now the opportunity to go ahead and see other people elevated and lifted and grown. You know, in that period of time, there's been so many people that we've worked with I've had the blessing to work with, and we've raised kids together, families together, and it's more than cars.
Yes, literally.
Right? I mean, it's more than cars.
Yeah,
it is. It's life. You know, it's an extension of the people that I've been blessed to go ahead and have put in our paths. I tell folks all the time, God loves his children to be together.
Yeah.
Right?
Life is not meant to be done alone.
Absolutely loves it. He built us for community.
Yes.
To be together, just like what you said. And so what gets me out of bed every morning is just that. The excitement to be able to extend opportunity and to help others step into the dreams that they have.
Yeah, I love that. And then what about as you look forward, because obviously our industry is always changing, right? There's always so many things. It's this thing, it's that thing. We don't have to name the specific words. Sure. Everybody knows what words I'm talking about are relevant right now, right?
Right.
When you're thinking about those that are coming up, right, that you're empowering, that you're lifting up, what excitement do you share for them? Like, what things are you saying, like, I can't wait to see how you handle this or how you overcome this? Is there things that our industry is heading where you say, I'm excited for those that are coming behind me? Well,
obviously AI right now is a huge buzzword, right? And what excites me a lot about AI is the power that it has to assist those around. I mean, I treat it as a brainstorming partner that shows up at the same level and is available anytime that I need it to be.
That's it, right.
Challenge our teams to go ahead and utilize that as well in daily implementation of tasks that they have. Leveraging. I've heard a lot of folks say, I think it's going to make us dumber. I said, no, I think if we just lean on it. And say, okay, whatever it says is fact or the answer or how I'm going to go. That's one side of it. I said, but what if we read what it actually puts back to us?
Right.
We're in the information age now.
Yes.
But I also often warn folks and say, hey, understand, we're also in the disinformation age.
Yes.
Because any
100%.
answer that I want, I can find it.
Yes.
If I look for it, I can find it.
Yes.
So I feel like as we progress down this path, just the ability to go ahead and leverage that. I remember years back reading something when they were talking about the onset of smartphones and the technology. We were going to be working less, all these things.
Paperless society, remember that?
Yeah. Still trying to get there in dealerships, right?
Yes, absolutely.
We're like, hey, we're paperless now. Yeah, now we only print, 30 forms,
right? Exactly.
Or, whatever it is.
You're absolutely right.
It's
our deal jackets have reduced by 25%.
Yeah.
Like, so you got rid of 3 sheets. Okay.
And why exactly are we printing something to scan it? I'm just asking for a friend.
Absolutely.
So those progressions, per se.
Yes.
I'm excited to see the leverage that this helps with, it assists with.
Yes.
There's certain things that I don't think are ever going to be able to take out of the equation. Again, remember, but God built us to go ahead and be together.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
This collaboration that we do, people long for that.
Yes, 100%.
So efficiencies, I think they're okay with.
Right.
I think even when we talk with our sales teams and we say, hey, this isn't here, just like we've heard a few different times on stage over the last couple of days, hey, this isn't here to replace you.
Right.
But think of the leverage of your time. Is your time better used here?
Right.
Or if this can assist you in doubling down your efforts, what does that look like?
What does that look like?
I'm excited to see, the adoption and how that begins to go ahead and roll out. I mean, we saw this morning with Steve Greenfield, he talked about them using that clay wheel.
Right.
And then,
yes.
That took 1,400 years.
Right. It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
Technology's not taking that fast.
Not at all. Not at all.
From what we saw a couple years ago to today,
absolutely,
it's exponential.
Yeah.
just compounded effort. So I'm real excited to see where the industry's going.
Absolutely. Sure. And I 100% agree with you. And I love the perspective that you shared in regards to the utilizing the tool as an assist, right? I think you're absolutely correct that you have to lean more into critical thinking because it's funny. I've even seen a post where they had 6 uses where people used AI and like how they used it. And one of them I just thought was very humorous. One of them said, I forgot to cancel my ChatGPT premium subscription. So I asked ChatGPT to write me a letter to have it refunded, and I ended up getting the refund back. And I'm like, that's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a matter of like, it's not what you ask, it's how many questions you continue to ask that ends up giving you the better and better result, right?
100%.
If you can go in and say, well, hey, what's this? And then, but okay, so what about this? Or what if this? And then the more curious and creative that you're able to get, the better you're able to wield that tool and use it, right? And
no doubt.
I think, but you have to have that perspective. Like you said, you can have the surface level perspective and just say, oh, it's going to do this. Or you can, like you said, dig deeper and look below the surface and say, like, wait a minute, what if? And just have that curiosity mindset.
100%.
So I think that's great. But the other thing I think you mentioned as well is like how far we're advancing in technology. And that's happening across the board. But I think what we have to be mindful of is not to miss it, right? To have those moments where we say, wait a minute, like I think back, it's really interesting. Part of what I do as well is just marketing and talking about different products. So I remember just in 2019, talking specifically about charging stations throughout the country, right? And I remember now, like, there's over 19,000, charging, and now it's up to whatever the number is. But just in that 5-year span, how quickly it's grown, and how scaled it. Like, and even now, at specifically this venue, you go into the parking garage and they're like EV chargings on level 5, and you're starting to see that at more and more places.
Small places.
Exactly.
I'm in Mississippi, small places.
Yes.
And you see it pop up. I would say it's real common. Hotel chains pop up now. It's just part of
what they do. Yeah.
Part of their design.
Part of the build out,
Absolutely.
And thinking about, like you said, referencing the wheel, what made me think about that and mention that was from a automotive standpoint, right? We don't ever think about it, but there was approximately like a 17-year gap between when automobiles were introduced and when gas stations were introduced, right?
Sure.
Previous to that, we were getting gas from a pharmacy. Like, we literally would go into a pharmacy and like, hey, let me get 2 gallons of, and some toothpaste. But
carry it out.
Right, yeah. And we don't think about that because obviously, as well as I look, I wasn't around 100 years ago. But, it's that, but it's like we weren't around then and we don't hear those stories then. So now when people are talking about, well, this is taking an AI and electrification and all these things, it's like, no, this is just our time of revolution in this particular technology platform.
You know what's funny when you say that? You say, okay, 17 years to gas stations, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about on the stage yesterday, well, you don't really want that person at home 2 or 3 days before they have their electrical charger in the garage.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yes.
17 years.
2 or 3 days, right.
And that's where we're at now, though.
Yes.
That's that level of expectation that continues to grow.
I think we're in this society where for us, we want it to be thought implementation.
Right.
It's no longer like thought, planning, process, preparation. It's like, no, I think it, make it happen.
Yeah. But how far are we from it? 3D printing, all the what's our parts department's what are they gonna look like?
Right.
In 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we going to buy materials?
Right.
To just have things, here's your part.
Yeah, that's it.
No more shipping. No more trucks coming.
No more pulling out the parts book. You remember the parts book? You plop it on. Okay, let me go through the catalog.
Part grenade. Just give me all of these, and I'll just bring back what I don't need.
Right. That's it. I love
3
that.
weeks from now.
But I think it goes to your point of what you mentioned, and again, I love the way you said it. It's about how you perceive it, how you embrace it, and then ultimately how your level of excitement is towards it. So,
100%.
And to share with everyone out there, if folks want to get in touch with you, want to contact you, pick your brain, best practice, tips, tools, all that good stuff, how can they reach you?
Sure. Well, Errol, hopefully you'll put my name out there.
Yes.
Because it's a one-of-a-kind name. So if you look me up on LinkedIn, Facebook, I'm real easy to find. If you Google my name, it's only me. So if it's tied to my name, chances are it's me.
Chances are it's me. I love that.
Easy to find.
I love that. Well, thank you for sitting down with us, spending the time here at Unscripted. Before we get out of here, anything else you want to impart?
Not a thing. Just embrace the change, love the moment, live for the day.
I love that. Thank you again. Appreciate your time. Thank you for being with us on Unscripted. We will see you on the next one. But until then, take care of yourself and someone else as well. Take care.
Thank you for listening to Unscripted. At ASOTU, we're obsessed with uniting people around one big idea, that thriving people are the only path to a thriving and profitable industry. If that resonates with you, then head over to morethancars.com, join our email list, and explore our full list of podcasts.